On WBKB, one officer is dead and another injured after an attack on U.S. Capitol Police. Plus, March brought an increase in jobs across the nation and a sneak peek at this Sunday's Insights. You are watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Cruz. A Capitol Hill police officer was killed and another injured after a man rammed into them with his car. They were stationed outside the U.S. Capitol, which is once again a crime scene. Skylar Henry is near the Capitol building with the latest.
National Guard troops raced toward the Capitol Friday afternoon, then lined up shoulder to shoulder in a show of force. Law enforcement officials say a car had tried to breach the perimeter of the Capitol, hitting two Capitol Hill police officers and ramming into a barrier.
The suspect did exit the vehicle with a knife in hand, and at that time he started to lunge toward, run aggressively toward U.S. Capitol Police Office.
Police shot the driver and emergency crews arrived on the scene. Two stretchers loaded into ambulances. Police say both the driver and one of the police officers have died from their injuries.
It does not appear that he is known to the Capitol Police or the Metropolitan Police Department at this time. It does not appear to be terrorism related, but obviously we'll continue to investigate.
The scene unfolded while Congress was on recess. President Biden had left for Camp David, and the White House press secretary was in the middle of a press conference.
I'm obviously not aware, as Kelly acknowledged, of the situation at the Capitol. The President of the United States always travels with a national security rep.
The incident comes 3 months after a mob of armed insurrectionists stormed the U.S. Capitol as Congress was voting to certify Joe Biden's presidential win.
Law enforcement took down fencing around the outermost perimeter around the Capitol complex about a week ago. Cars, unless they were cleared by authorities, couldn't even get close to the buildings.
Also last week, several lawmakers from both parties pushed for a bill that would remove permanent fencing around the Capitol. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The deceased officer's name is William Evans. Authorities have confirmed that the suspect is 25-year-old Noah Green from Indiana. Police believe he was working alone and the threat to the Capitol is over. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has confirmed another COVID-19 variant in Bay County. The state health department says that a resident tested positive for P1, or the Brazil variant, earlier this week. The variant originates in travelers from Brazil during airport screenings in Tokyo, Japan in early January. This variant is more transmissible, and there are concerns it might affect people who are vaccinated or naturally immune. As of March 31st, the CDC has reported 172 confirmed cases of the P1 variant from 22 states. American employers added more jobs in March than they have in months, according to numbers released from the U.S. Bureau of Labor this morning. 916,000 jobs were added over the last month, over twice the amount of jobs added in February and the most since August of 2020. Leading the way was the leisure and hospitality industry, as 280,000 Americans returned to work at hotels and restaurants alone.
Credit for this progress belongs not to me but to the American people. Hard-working women and men who have struggled through this pandemic, never given up, and are determined to get the country back on track, as well as their families.
Experts say the U.S. is on track to regain all jobs lost by the pandemic in the coming months. Michigan followed this trend too, as jobless rates have declined in all 17 of the state's regional labor markets. Now here's meteorologist Ellie Morrison with a first check of the weather. Ellie, it was pretty nice today compared to the last few days.
Tyler, we're starting to get some warmer temperatures moving into our area. We've been seeing plenty of sunshine all day long, and currently we're under clear skies with a temperature of 39. It is a little bit cooler for areas near the shoreline, also 38 degrees in Oscoda. It's also 38 in Rogers City, but away from the shoreline, 46 in Gaylord, and in Houghton Lake, 45 degrees. As we go into this evening, we will have temperatures cooling off to the lower 30s, even upper 20s as we go into the late evening hours. Temperatures tomorrow morning will be climbing into the lower and middle 30s. By midday, we are rising into the middle and upper 40s, and we'll have afternoon highs tomorrow reaching the upper 50s, well above normal. I'll let you know how long these warm temperatures are going to last and when our next chances of rain are going to move into our area coming up later in the newscast.
I'll trade rain for warm temperatures any day, Allie. We'll check back in with you later. Great news from Attorney General Dana Nessel for Michigan tenants struggling to pay their rent. But what about landlords still responsible for their mortgage? Nessel alerts Michigan tenants to an extension of the eviction moratorium from the Centers for Disease Control. The moratorium has been extended through June 30th, 2021. This means tenants are protected from eviction, late fees, and utility shutoffs due to non-payment. Tenants should be aware that back rent, along with potential late charges, may be collected by landlords once the moratorium is lifted. What does this mean for certain landlords? Banner Realty owner and broker Margie Hawksma explains.
The ones that will be totally effective will be the ones that have it leveraged out so far, and they have to make their payments, and no payments are coming in because they're saying they can't evict them and they can't rent it to someone else.
Hawksma says, fortunately, she's not seeing much of this issue in Alpena. More information about the eviction moratorium can be found on our website. It's National Financial Literacy Month, and WBKB is helping you save a few bucks and learn about credit all month long, including how to save on your next vacay. WBKB's Tiffany Maddox shows us how a staycation could help your savings and show you parts of town you wouldn't normally see.
Let's be honest, the pandemic is putting a damper on many people's travel plans, but there could be an uptick in vacations as more people become vaccinated. However, there are a lot of people who are choosing to take a little bit of paradise right here at home. It's always a plus when you can get in your car and drive just a few miles to relax and have fun.
I think, it was a nice way to get together with everybody and still be safe.
The Ramada Inn offers several amenities that any family would love, making you feel like you're at a resort out of town.
People are itching to get out. People are tired of staying home, and they're looking for things to do that are close to home and affordable. And so we've seen a big uptick in families coming to the hotel on the weekends during spring break and taking advantage of all of the amenities we have to offer.
Travel experts say staycations definitely will help you save money and time. Not only are you starting your trip right away, this type of vacation eliminates airfare, excessive gas prices, and allows you to support your local businesses. This is especially important as businesses struggle during the pandemic. Grace says you don't even have to stay overnight to take advantage of all the hotel has to offer.
Our arcade, which is our old restaurant space that is not only being used by hotel guests, but also by local families who just want to come in and play some arcade games all day long.
In Alpena, Tiffany Maddox, WBKB News.
Grace says Ramada's prices are competitive with large resorts in Traverse City and other Northeast Michigan tourist resorts. Thank you for that, Tiffany. The Community Foundation for Northeast Michigan is spreading the wealth. Organizations in Alcona, Alpena, Montmorency, and Presque County were awarded over $84,000 in total in a wave of new community grants, including the Boys and Girls Club of Alpena was awarded $3,500 for their triple play program. Alcona Community Schools received $3,000 for their elementary outdoor classroom, and Presque District Library was awarded $1,500 for their summer reading program. You can find a full list of the grants and recipients on our website. A new $5 million construction project gets underway Monday on US 23 in Harrisville. In Sunday's Insights, WBKB's Sherry Stewart talks with the Michigan Department of Transportation about the impact to residents and businesses in the area.
And you said that detour would probably start around April 12th. So what would be the alternate routes that folks would have to take?
So the detour will start in Harrisville at the M72 intersection. So folks that are traveling through or intending to travel through, meaning they're not destined for a location within the project area, they'll be expected to follow the detour. So turning west onto M72 and then north onto Barlow Road and F41. And returning to US 23 at the north end. And then the southbound direction would just take the opposite route. But local traffic, those accessing homes, going to patron a local business, will be allowed into the work area and accommodated.
You can catch Insights this Sunday. It airs at 11:30 a.m. on CBS. There's more news for you here on WBKB. Coming up, an update on the Bagley Bridge construction and meteorologist
59 degrees. Wednesday's looking mostly cloudy with highs around 54 degrees. We'll have another chance of showers moving in Thursday with highs in the middle 50s. And then for next Friday, Partly cloudy skies with high temperatures in the middle 50s. And today's photo was sent in by Cindy Zofchak. She got stuck in an afternoon traffic jam caused by a parade of turkeys in National City. Thank you, Cindy, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com.
Well, Ellie, I know it's not the season, but I'm just wondering how many Thanksgiving sandwiches you can make with all those turkeys. Coming up on WBKB News, Alpena librarians talk about the work of late children's author Beverly Cleary, and Jake Vanderbrook will have the latest in sports. Come back. Here's our weekly look at the progress being made on the Bagley Street Bridge construction. Even with the surprise April snow this week, the Bagley Street construction is still going as planned. Most of the recent work consisted of drilling underground. Workers are still driving through the surface in order to get the proper materials needed to build the new piers for the bridge.
Most of the old structure has been removed. The contractor is in the process of driving sheet piling in order to construct the new piers for Pier 1 and Pier 3.
Stay tuned next week for another update on the bridge's progress. Beloved children's author Beverly Cleary passed away recently at the age of 104. WBKB's Kent Davis asked Alpena librarians what made her books so special.
Cleary worked as a children's librarian before publishing her first book, Henry Huggins, in 1950. Cleary continued to pen book after book for decades, finishing with Ramona's World in 1999. Pat Garrett, Alpena librarian and former teacher, grew up on Cleary's books and read them to her students. Garrett says Cleary's books stayed popular by focusing on parts of childhood that never changed.
Ramona is a little sister, an annoying little sister, and if you're a big sister or if you're a little sister, that's fun to read about.
Fellow librarian Sarah Grakowski says Cleary's characters, often troublemakers, reflected childhood honestly and helped kids feel understood.
You can have these differences and be messy and be loud and still be loved. It doesn't make you less. And I think it gave a lot of kids permission to just be themselves and live their lives.
Cleary may be gone, but kids will keep reading her books for decades to come. And in those books, they'll find her voice telling them that it's okay to be imperfect. In Alpena, Kent Davis, WBKB News.
Thank you for that, Kent. Well, sports is coming up next, but first, Matt Dazinski is here with a preview. Matt, I'm glad Jake's out today because I'd be hearing it after my Sox got shut out. What's going on today?
Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, you were in the clear with me on that one, but coming up next in sports, the high school wrestling state finals kicked off today, and I will let you know how 3 area athletes did coming up. Plus, the Michigan basketball season may be over, but they keep adding hardware to the trophy case. I'll let you know for what coming up next in sports.
Well, that's all we have for you this evening. You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online. Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night. And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11. Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Kent Davis. Have a good weekend.